What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to 100% Mags. So, of course, this is your match preview for the game against Nottingham Forest in the second round of the Carabao Cup down at the City Ground, of course, and it is live on Sky Sports for this one as well. It will be an 8 o'clock kickoff, and of course, with it being tomorrow night, it means that as today is the 27th, as I record this preview, going into the Nottingham Forest game, that means that today was the last day that Sandro Tonali would be banned from competitive football for his gambling offences, which means that tomorrow night will be, if Eddie Howe of course chooses to pick him from the off, which I'm sure he will be Sandro Tonali's first game for Newcastle United in absolutely months. And the lad has got to be chomping at the bit to get in there, get his feet on the pitch and get going immediately in this season. We've seen him behind closed doors. You know, he's had matches behind closed doors. We've seen him in plenty of training videos and he looks raring to go. He looks like he's really past all of that situation that he had with the gambling. He's well and truly past that. He's been to many different counselling meetings, you know, to help him get by that situation. And now he's fully focused, fully ready to go and prove to Newcastle United, you know, what kind of player he is and give back to her as well for the dedication and the support that we've shown to him during this very hard situation that he's had to go through. Of course, we'll go down to the City Ground. It would have been lovely if it had been at St James's Park for Sandro Tonali returning to take on Nottingham Forest. But unfortunately, it is at the City Ground. But that doesn't mean that he won't get a massive round of applause. He won't get a massive cheer, because there is going to be a massive travelling support going down there for Newcastle, as there always is. So all them lads and lasses will make sure, you know, Sandro Tonali gets the support that he deserves from us Newcastle United fans for the hard work and the dedication that he has shown to Newcastle during this massive period that he has been suspended for. Looking at the team news, of course, Sven Botman, Jamal Lascelles, Callum Wilson and Lewis Miley will be remaining out. They're not fit for selection for this one. Shaw serves the second of a 3-game suspension. Of course, with the Spurs game being the last of the 3-game bans after that red card he picked up on the opening day against Southampton, which was unjustly given, by the way. And like I said, you know, Sandro Tonali will be available for selection because his ban has now ended. And Espirito Santo can call upon some former Newcastle old boys, Elliot Anderson, who just joined them this season, of course, in the deal that also seen Ode Flacademos coming to Newcastle United, and of course Chris Wood, who joined Nottingham Forest as well last season or a few seasons ago now, and of course he'll be available for Nottingham Forest, as will Elliot Anderson. Danilo, however, for Nottingham Forest will be sidelined with a serious ankle injury, so he will not be available for Nottingham Forest. Looking at the most recent games of Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest as well, Newcastle won 3-2 over Nottingham Forest in the Premier League back in February. And Nottingham Forest going into this game, of course, a 1-0 win over Southampton in the Premier League on Saturday. And looking at the cup history as well, we have been involved in 9 consecutive all Premier League ties in this competition since, of course, visiting Tranmere Rovers in August of 2022. Last season alone, we had to take on the likes of Man City, Man U and Chelsea in the League Cup, all back-to-back games. So that just shows, you know, are the draws really random, or are they picked, you know, by hand by the EFL or by people with an agenda against Newcastle United. But of course, the third round draw, if we do happen to make it past Nottingham Forest in this second round draw, the third round draw will see teams that are playing in Europe being drawn against teams that aren't playing in Europe, to keep, of course, the teams that are playing in Europe away from playing against each other, which I've got to say, when I heard that rule read out for the first time, I've got to say it sounds very, very anti-competitive. At the end of the day, it's a draw for a cup. It should be completely random. It doesn't matter if you're playing in Europe or if you're playing no Europe at all. You should be able to get any opponent possible. This, I think, is going to be a really dodgy decision, and I hope they do rectify it come the next season. I mean, where was this last season? When Newcastle were playing in Europe, why didn't they do this last season? Why are they suddenly decided to do it this season? When there's no Newcastle United in Europe, and the teams that are in there, the likes of Villa, Man U, Tottenham, these teams, they're all, going to get a benefit now and a chance to play lower opposition instead of, being picked at random, and they could have maybe ended up with, the likes of Liverpool against Man U, or Man U against Man City, and now they're not going to get that because they've got this rule in for the third round. But of course, that's for another video and another discussion. But in this one, I've got to say, looking at the game, going into this game against Nottingham Forest, it's going to be a closely contested game. And I do think we will have enough to edge Nottingham Forest in it. With Sandy coming back, he's going to add that bit of spark extra into the midfield. I would expect, to maybe see Isak from the off up top like we have seen in the league, or maybe Eddie Howe might decide to go with a young lad, William Masula, who would just brought in from Nottingham Forest. Maybe he'll decide to go with him up top. But this is a priority for us. If we're not being in Europe, this is a chance for us to attack the cups once again. I mean, in the last few seasons now, we've barely gotten below a quarter final. So obviously this is something that we are trying to win, and it's a good chance, to get rid of that trophy drought as well that has been hindering us for years, since we last won the cup in, of course, 1969, the Intercities Fairs Cup, and in the 50s, of course, for the domestic cup. So this is the best chance forward to be able to get rid of that, trophy drought, and be able to continue on, get ourselves some silverware for the first time in years. So let us know your thoughts anyway down in the comments below. I think it will be a tightly contested game. I think we will have enough, though, however, to come out on top against Nottingham Forest and see ourselves through to the third round. Whoever we get in the third round, however, still remains to be seen. Of course, we'll have to wait and see what happens with the draw with that, if we can get past Nottingham Forest, of course, first, because that is the first hurdle that we've got to get by. But let us know your thoughts anyway down in the comments below, and also check out my video from earlier on where I was talking about, of course, the shocking confession from Eddie Howe saying about, of course, the transfer window. Go check out that video. Remember to hit the like on this one and that one. Subscribe to the channel. Share the videos to your friends, family, what have you. Try and get as many eyes as possible on this channel because I'm really wanting to push on now and really wanting to build the channel going forward, and I can only do that with the support from you lads and lasses out there who watch the content. And a massive thank you as well to all the people that do support the channel on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, because you really do help to allow me to be able to create these videos for you guys. But till next time, I'll see you all for the next one, and how are the lads.